Welcome to Conversations with Ann Elizabeth, the podcast inspired by my book, I'm a Registered Dietitian, Now What?, where I have the absolute joy to sit back, relax, and have a conversation about nutrition with a variety of people who share their personal story of passion and purpose, especially registered dietitians. Today's conversation is with Sarah Menzel, one of my first clients I worked with who was diagnosed with celiac disease and who is now studying to be a registered dietitian. I was pretty pumped this past week. I sent a couple of my books to Canada and a few other places in the U.S. It's exciting to know all the places my book has traveled to in the past year and a half. If you would like to have my book travel your way, head on over to my website, annelizabethrd.com, to order one today. Today's episode is sponsored by Jolly Time Healthy Pop Popcorn, because popcorn is gluten-free, and so is Sarah, who I still need to get some yummy popcorn too. I just saw my favorite Simply Popped popcorn celebrated its first birthday this year. So if you want to learn more about Jolly Time Popcorn, visit jollytime.com for more information. A little over 5 years ago, I remember high school Sarah and her mom coming to visit me at work because Sarah was newly diagnosed with celiac disease, and they were in need of a little help grocery shopping. I would have never guessed a few years later Sarah would head off to Iowa State University and decide to become a registered dietitian herself. I have enjoyed getting to know her over the years and work with her on and off during her undergraduate career. Sarah shared more of her own personal story of becoming interested in nutrition as a profession and is looking forward to applying for her internship this fall. Please enjoy my conversation with RD2Be, Sarah. I was thinking about you. That's why I was like, you know, your story is so just unique of just how personal it was for you. And I was thinking about that day that you and your mom came to my office. Yeah. And so I was like, well, I want to hear the backstory before that happens to what you were thinking about at that time, and just kind of telling your own personal story. Because you were how old when...
15.
15.
Yeah, 15.
Okay. So did you get diagnosed with celiac disease at that time? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So you were 15. What was kind of going on for you that you were like, something's not right?
Something's not right. Yeah. So I had C. diff a couple months before. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
Yeah, I got C. diff. It was a blast. And
my goodness.
Thankfully, it was before it was like super bug status and really deadly. So I got C. diff and never like really felt better from the disease and the antibiotic. Because they gave me like the strongest
superpower.
Yeah, it wiped everything out.
So you had like no good microbiome.
None whatsoever. Yeah. And I was still had no appetite, was still like rapidly losing weight. So my pediatrician at the time sent me over to a pediatric GI doctor. And he did like his evaluation, looked at my history, and was just like, well, I think you have celiac disease. And that was my worst fear because I grew up eating like half a loaf of bread with every meal. Okay.
Of course,
bread machine bread was my life.
Oh,
it was so good. So good. Yeah, anything that was bread, I would eat it.
So did you kind of have a feeling? Were you aware of celiac disease at that time?
Kind of. I knew my pediatrician had mentioned it, and he had said something about like gluten, which is bread, and I was just like, man, I hope I don't have that. That would be horrible. Mm-hmm. So I was very upset after that. Not even getting that diagnosis, just like the thought that I could have it. I remember on the car ride home, I was just thinking like, will I ever be able to travel? Like, am I gonna go to college? Like,
so it was like not a happy day for you.
Oh my gosh, no. And it was the same day as the royal wedding. So I had been up at 3 a.m. watching the royal wedding, and I had to go hear that news. And yeah, I was devastated. So then we actually did the endoscopy. And then I think we got called the very next day. The doctor called my mom and was like, yep, Sarah has celiac disease. I wanted to have like one last day of freedom where I could eat anything I wanted.
Like, I'm just going to eat gluten like it's my job today.
All the bread, all the pizza. Let's be real here. but I ended up not doing that. And so, yeah, my mom was super proactive and somehow got me in to see a dietitian the very next day. So we actually ended up seeing 3 dietitians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was a lot.
That was a little intense,
but yeah, we saw the first dietitian, and I just remember sitting there thinking, being like, I could probably do this job someday. Like, I mean, I don't know a lot of the mechanisms behind it or why this happens, but I'll be able to really relate to people. And so we saw that dietitian, and she gave us a ton of information. I was very overwhelmed.
So much that you were just like,
yeah,
oh my gosh.
I was like, wait, so I can't even have something that's been prepared next to gluten? What is this whole cross-contamination life? So that was kind of another punch in the stomach. Not only can I not eat these foods, but I have to be careful with what's been prepared with what, and spatulas and serving utensils and
napkins,
cutting boards,
it could be in the air.
Right, washing your hands.
Yeah.
So that was definitely overwhelming. And we had gone to Hy-Vee and looked at the gluten-free products before I was diagnosed, just so I would feel better and be like, oh, hey, there's the stuff.
There is food out there I can eat.
Yeah, I mean, this was almost 7 years ago, and there was just one side of an aisle.
I know, isn't it amazing how that's changed?
And now it's the whole health market. It's awesome.
Sure.
But yeah, so we went in and saw, this is what I could eat. And then somehow we made an appointment with you. I don't remember how that happened.
I can't remember. I just remember you both being there and just kind of chatting. And
yeah, and because I remember that it was a week before we were going camping. And of course, you need s'mores when you go camping, but you can't have graham crackers. So my mom and I were so relieved when you showed us that there were gluten-free graham crackers. It's good. Now we can go camping.
Now we can go. Load up the car. We're good.
Let's get packed. We have graham crackers.
But when you're 15, I mean, things like that.
That's
they're
what you look forward to.
Yeah.
Or hot dog bun. And we had made the decision that the whole family was going gluten-free. They didn't really have a choice in the matter.
Everybody, this is the deal.
This is the new normal. Let's do it. So yeah, we saw 3 dietitians. Everyone had their own input and ideas and advice, and I learned so much from every single one of you.
And that's interesting because you said, I think that's great to see different dietitians, because now you probably look back and you're like, okay, well, this makes sense now that I'm going to be one.
Right.
How it's good to know more about what different dietitians do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, a lot of it was gluten-free plus how to gain weight, because I was losing 5 pounds every time I went back to the doctor. And being 5'8",
you couldn't afford to.
You can't be 116 pounds. That's not okay.
No.
So a lot of it was how to be gluten-free, how to make sure you're getting all the right nutrients, and then what are those high-fat foods that you need to be eating. Which again, now that I've learned it all, it just makes so much sense.
It's all coming full circle for you.
Amazing.
So how transition, you kind of started transitioning into the gluten-free lifestyle.
Yeah.
And thank goodness your family was so proactive.
Yeah.
And your mom was and your mom still is. She was fantastic about it.
Mom there.
She was like, we're going to do this. We're going to do it right, which is great. But so when did you start thinking, okay, so you kind of said, oh, I kind of like this. As you were visiting with dietitians, you thought this could be a profession. What did you want to be before you kind of started thinking about dietetics?
Oh, gosh, I really wanted to be a speech language pathologist.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the King's Speech and was just totally inspired by it, and was looking at programs at Iowa. Then I realized it was a master's, and
you're that's a lot of school.
That's a lot of school. That's a lot of money that I don't have.
And now you're in dietetics, which is the same thing, basically.
Spending the same amount of money, guys. So yeah, I was pretty excited about doing speech language pathology. My brother went to Iowa, so I was familiar with the area. But then just through seeing all the dietitians and exploring different foods and like learning what quinoa was and how to pronounce it.
Say it right.
I was like, oh, this is like, I'm actually really passionate about this. So yeah, I just started Googling like how to become a dietitian.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I got plugged in at Iowa State and started like looking at their program and went on a couple of tours
and the rest was history.
Yeah, here I am.
It kind of makes you wonder, though, like, you know, if you never would have got diagnosed with celiac disease, you know, you probably would have went the other direction.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I know, right? And it just became more of a personal thing for you,
sure.
just because you were so vested in your own health, and now you found a career out of it too, which is amazing.
It really is. And you stop and look back and think, wow, this all came from not being able to eat half a loaf of bread with every meal.
Can't eat my bread machine bread. Do you guys make gluten-free bread machine bread? Do you have a bread machine?
We did for a little bit. I think it finally died on us.
You burned it out. You used it so much.
Had a short life expectancy.
So as you were like in high school, so you just kind of kept that kind of thought of dietetics, and then you chose Iowa State. Did you look at any other schools, or did you? Yeah, just Iowa State was the school. State. Yeah.
Yep. I went it was a day. It was called Just for Juniors. It was for juniors in high school to come up, and like I just knew instantly. Like, yep.
You liked the campus and the program.
The campus, yeah. They were able to make me something gluten-free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of the dining centers. So that was like, hey, I didn't get poisoned. The campus is beautiful.
I'm sold.
Let's go.
So that was an easy decision for you, which is good. I mean, that's good because sometimes even that's a hard decision for people that trying to pick what school to go to.
Oh, yeah.
So now that you've been studying dietetics, how, like thinking back, because you're a senior right now, basically, and you have an extra semester, but looking at where you started in the program and where you are now, what are some things as a student that has kind of changed for you when it comes to just like your thoughts about being a dietitian?
So much. I don't know where to begin. I think I've learned like equal amounts of like dietetic stuff and equal amounts about myself and just sort of my learning style and my like learning philosophy, if you will. I've learned I'm more competitive than I thought I was as a freshman.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not as insane as some other people, but I do like, I mean, I take it seriously and I want to do well. But yeah, I think the biggest thing I've learned is just how much science there is in dietetics. I mean, the first 2 years, I got like 2 or 3 nutrition classes and the rest was biology and chemistry and organic chemistry and biochem and all this awful stuff.
Just to say them make me nauseous sometimes.
Makes me want to cry just thinking about biochemistry. But just learning all of that, and I think at the moment I was like, why do I have to know this? But seeing it all come together in sort of like the 300 level nutrition classes, that was really cool to be like, oh, like I remember learning this in, Bio 212 or whatever freshman year. So just seeing it all come together and like being able to apply it to a person or to a disease state, like to me, that's the coolest thing. Like I get so excited when it clicks and when I can remember, like, yeah, I learned this in biochem. That class wasn't a waste.
It wasn't a waste of time.
I'm actually learning something here. So seeing it all be brought together and seeing it build on itself that's been really cool. And they told me that freshman year when I was like, why am I taking these classes?
Why am I taking this? Yeah.
I'm like, just wait, you'll need it.
All come together.
All come together, and it has. They were right.
Did you, when I talk to a lot of dietetic students, those 2 first years, I think either make or break you.
Oh, for sure.
If you decide to keep going or if you decide to not, did you feel like that at any point that you're like, I don't know if I really want to do this, maybe not, this is not for me?
Not seriously.
Just like the nights where you were like, oh my gosh, I have a huge test tomorrow and why am I doing this?
Why am I in this major? I could be doing something else. But yeah, I've always I've always wanted to stick to it. I remember freshman year, a lot of people in dietetics were like, nope, I gotta switch. This is not for me. Which always made me sad because I was like, I'm never gonna see you guys again.
Yeah. So there was a few people that did switch.
Switch out. Yeah, just to something different. But no, I've never seriously wanted to change or leave. I came in 2014 wanting to be a pediatric dietitian, and like that hasn't changed in the 4 years I've been there.
That's always kind of been where your focus is.
Yeah. So many like professors and like dietitians that I've like job shadowed or worked with, a lot of them will say, like, be open, you never know, you might find something else that you also like, but no, it's going to be pediatrics. Like that's
what about pediatrics? What draws you to pediatrics?
Yeah, I think it's because I was a pediatric patient when I was diagnosed. I mean, 15 is getting a little close to aging now, but still I dealt with all pediatric specialists, and just the kindness that they had and how like fast they moved. Just really made me appreciate that specialty. And I love kids. I mean, I've been babysitting for as long as I can remember. I've worked in daycares. Like, kids don't scare me at all.
And now you have a niece, so
now
that's exciting.
I have a beautiful little niece, yeah. And she's starting to eat solid, so that's
fun.
The coolest thing for me.
People food. Let's try something new.
Yeah, so having her around is definitely...
That probably is solidifying it even more.
Yeah, this is what I want to do. Because, I mean, we're blessed. She's totally healthy, but there are a lot of little babies out there that, have either a rough start or, get sick right away, and they need us.
For sure. And do you try to create experiences for yourself to get exposed to pediatric nutrition? Yeah. So maybe talk to me about some of your experiences that you've had.
Yeah. So my senior year in high school, actually, I think that was my first job shadow with a dietitian. Because I wanted to be sure that this was actually what I wanted to do. So I went to a peds dietitian at Mercy, and she was so sweet and like just showed me everything that she does in a day. And, took me all over the hospital, took me to the NICU, which was like the coolest thing ever. I was just like, yep, this is where I'm going to be soon. So that really solidified also just like seeing her job and like hearing her stories of the kids that she gets to interact with. That's
Roger. We got Roger's visiting.
But so I did that. I started doing like a little mini internship at ChildServe after my freshman year, and I worked mostly with their food service director there. So that exposed me to like the pureed diets that they do for the kids who live there. And the dietitian there at the time, her name was also Sarah, which was fun. She would like take me all around the facility and explain like tube feedings and stuff to like little baby freshman Sarah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I got like an early exposure right away.
So what is ChildServe? Just for listeners.
So ChildServe it's basically a pediatric nursing home. So it's for kids with very severe, lifelong disabilities. And they live at ChildServe usually because they require a lot of equipment and things that most people don't have available to them. But it's so great. I love working
So you got to see a lot of very specialized nutrition and just special needs when it came to nutrition.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that stuff. Yeah.
So that was probably an experience that a lot of people wouldn't even ever have the opportunity to get. Yeah. So do you like that more of that special kind of need kind of pediatric nutrition? Because you said NICU too.
Yeah,
so.
I go back and forth so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be so happy doing either.
Anything in the realm of
anything with
peds.
Kids, doesn't matter if they're special needs or not. I love them all. They all need our help.
Sure.
But yeah, some days I'm like, nope, I'm fully going to go into NICU. Then other days I want to do special needs. Some days I'm like, I should just like work with a GI doctor. So I don't know. We'll figure it out at some point.
And then there's GI
Maybe I'll
for
do all three.
peds too. Are you thinking like GI peds? Yeah. Because like you said, there's so many different just areas that you could definitely work in as a dietitian.
Yeah, you can go anywhere.
Any other experiences that you've had outside of those that have made an impact on kind of your decision?
Yeah, I did another job shadow with the current child serve dietitian, so it's kind of cool to get her perspective also. Yeah, I think those two have been my biggest ones.
Pretty big. That's pretty awesome.
They're really cool.
Do you recommend, like, when you think about choosing more of a specialty area, and I know it's like you don't have to choose it because you're not getting a job like tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think when you're choosing internships, like it's important to maybe figure out if there's an internship that would have more of that specialty. So as a senior, do you kind of recommend, other students trying to do some job shadowing of things that they're interested in?
Yeah, because I think, like, all dietitians have always loved doing job shadows with students. They're, like, the nicest people out there. But I think it's easy to think, like, oh, I want to do pediatrics. Or I want to do, like, oncology or something. But you definitely need to get in that environment to see that there's also a lot of sadness, especially with pediatrics, and especially with, like, oncology, for example, and just really hear, like, the raw side of it, just to even see if you're comfortable in that environment. It's been huge for me. Like, I definitely recommend job shadows, whether it's, like, even before you go into dietetics at your school, just so you know that this is, like, for sure.
That's what you want to do in school.
Just make sure,
Because that's a big decision, number one.
Right, yeah. So definitely get that experience. And, I mean, just even talking to other dietitians and hearing their stories and what they think of the field, it's really impactful.
Well, and I think different, not ages of dietitians, but just, a new dietitian versus a dietitian who's been one for 15 years versus one that's been 30 years, all will have a different perspective or a different way of teaching or how they feel about the profession. So I think that's a good message too.
Yeah.
So now that you're in all the fun classes, you're in all that's what's the waiting is the hardest part, is getting to all the nutrition classes. Now that you've kind of gotten into that, you're getting into the real, kind of more real deal stuff. And now that you're looking at that dietetic internship that's out there waving hello to you, talk to me about, what you're kind of looking for when it comes to an internship and that process for you. Hi, Roger.
Yeah, it's been a work in progress. I definitely would recommend looking early.
Like, how early do you recommend?
I started looking junior year.
Okay.
Just to even see what's out there, like, see the prices, just to be made aware of that.
Well, and I remember I think it was around Christmas time, maybe last year, that you were like, I just got this book of internships, and you should see some of the costs of some of these. And it's amazing how expensive they can be.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah, so knowing that ahead of time is good. Start saving your money.
Budget,
yeah, it's so important. But even just deciding, like, do you want a combined program with a master's and an internship, or just an internship? Where do you want to go? I think it's on the Academy's website. You can search for dietetic internships by state. So I kind of looked just at, like, the Midwest, to see what's around. And unfortunately, with the fall match, there's not as many internships, but there's also not as many people applying for them.
Sure.
So that's kind of good.
Did you kind of plan it that way?
It was a contributing factor.
It all kind of worked together.
It all fell into place.
But it's good to know that you can do a fall match and you can do spring match. So a lot of maybe, dietitians students don't quite know that that's available.
Know that. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely didn't know that. So right now I'm looking at distance programs. There's only a few that match in the fall. The biggest one is the Sodexo internship. They actually have a pediatric concentration.
Awesome.
So they have a lot. They have like 6 different concentrations where you can go into, like, food service, diabetes, weight management. That's kind of like all the big, the big areas of dietetics.
I didn't know I knew Sodexo had a distance. I didn't know that they had more specialty areas you could choose from.
It's a really cool internship. So because it's distance, I could do it here in Des Moines. If I've moved somewhere else by then, which I don't see myself doing, but you never know, I could do it there.
Can you do it all over? So like if you decided to do some in Des Moines, you could do some in New York City, you could do some in California.
That I'm not sure about.
Like if you found something that you were like, I really want to go there, could I go there and do that?
I know they do. I read they do help you set up some of your rotations with like facilities that they've worked with in the past.
Gotcha.
Yeah, some you do have to find on your own.
I was going to ask with the distance. Yeah. Like, do they help you find places, or do you kind of navigate that on your own? I think
it depends on the internship. There is one where to even apply, you have to have all of your rotations and preceptors selected, which is a lot of work. Oh my
gosh. That is a lot of work.
I don't have time for that.
While you're still going to school, you have to.
Yeah, for something that you might not even get. So
you do it before you even get accepted.
Yeah. And it's actually my mother who filled that out and told me. So definitely read all the information, because some of them are a little quirky. But I know with Sodexo, they will match you with like half of your rotations.
Oh.
And the rest you have to find for yourself. But I think that's where like networking with other dietitians really comes in. If you already have that connection, be like, hey, I did a job shadow with you, or I worked at this facility. Could I possibly do my rotation here?
You're probably not worried about that part.
No, not really.
You're like, I'm good.
I know a lot of people.
Well, that's exciting. I actually had an intern that did the Sodexo, but I mean, this was like 7 years ago. And she did find some of her own preceptors in the Des Moines area. But I don't think they had specialties at that time. So that's neat that they have that now.
New. So I'll probably apply to that one, and then also to Iowa State's, because it's close. It's only 6 months. I can get in, get out,
6 months,
hopefully get a
easy.
job. I can stand anything for 6 months. And then if I don't get matched to those, I'll just apply again in the spring to some more, and we'll see what happens.
You're not wavering. It's going to keep happening.
Oh yeah, it will happen.
How long is Sodexo's internship?
I want to say it's 11 months.
11 months, so a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it sounds like great opportunities for you.
Very good things about
Was there an internship that you really wanted to apply to, but you're like, I can't swing it, but it looks so cool?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. University of Iowa. That would probably be my dream internship. I doubt I would qualify for it.
Is it hard?
It's hard to get into. Yeah, even this match, I know probably 15 or 20 people who have applied. So it's nationally recognized as a very good internship, just because they have the hospital right there.
I'm surprised. I feel like you need to apply to this internship because it is probably got a really good pediatric component to it.
Yeah. Another good component is my brother and his family live in Iowa City. And
we got some housing that we can have.
They have an extra bedroom, so
you can hang out with your niece.
Me and my cat will arrive. That would be a good one. Some of the more really prestigious hospitals are very expensive. I think the most I've seen was $62,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which I want to say it was a combined program, so you probably get financial aid if you're getting your master's, but that's a very big number.
Oh my goodness. All the things that I didn't know anything about when I just wanted to find an internship and just get done. But I think it's great that there is opportunity. I think a lot of times, I know it's very competitive, but there is some great opportunities
there
for dietitians now.
There's a lot of options. I think at one point I did look through every single state internship because I wanted to find the best one. I didn't want to apply and then hear about this great internship
that
in
missed out on.
Indiana or someplace where I'd never think to look.
You only get one shot.
Yeah. So you gotta do your research. It takes forever, but it's worth it.
Yeah. That's so true. And it is true. And I think that's a good message because, at this time, I think my mindset was I just wanted to get done.
Yeah.
Where I wish I would have had more of your mindset of I really want to find what I really am passionate about and what I really want to do and find the best one, you said. Definitely. So I think it's important for students to, I know you've been through a long haul.
You're
know
tired.
I've been there. You're exhausted. Your brain is fried, but you only do one internship. And I think that's a great message too.
For sure.
Find one that you really want to do.
Yeah. Just find something that excites you. Not one where it's like, okay, it's cheap, it's close, but find something that, even if it takes a lot of planning, is still like going to make you happy and get you closer to your goals. That's the most important thing.
Because not all internships are created equal.
No, oh my gosh, no.
And I personally would not want to do one that was not in the areas that I wanted to learn more about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of them are, community focused, and that's not something that I'm super interested in. So I would definitely find an emphasis that you like.
So just as a backup emphasis, so if like peds didn't exist, which that's never going to happen, what else interests you? Is there a different area? I mean, like you said, like GI stuff too.
I really like GI. Yeah. I could see myself doing that if peds wasn't an option. I think like weight loss surgery is kind of interesting. We had kind of like a miniature unit about weight loss surgery, and it just seems insane, like the whole concept, but I find it fascinating. And just the nutrition needs after are so important.
For a long time.
Forever, yeah.
For the rest of their lives.
Right, pretty much. So yeah, that would probably be like a backup emphasis.
Backup dancer. I would say, what's your backup dancer? Just in case.
Weight loss surgery.
Well, and that's another area that has just, like I remember, when I started out as a dietitian, that had just started coming out as a area for dietitians to practice in, and now it's very common. So and they're ever changing. They're always changing.
They're always improving it and
different options. So you never know.
You never know.
That's why after this podcast, we're going to follow up with you post internship.
5 years.
And we're going to see what you are up to then. Because it'll be interesting to listen to this, after you're done with your internship.
Be like, what was I thinking?
Be like, where did she end up? For her first job and stuff like that. So, which is fun. That's what I think it's fun about the journey to,
definitely.
To see how things change from a student to a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, you just see her face. She's like,
oh my gosh,
it's getting closer.
Anne and I will be doing this again.
Yes, we will. It'll be a much different conversation too.
Oh man, that's gonna be crazy.
It'll be exciting. Well, it'll be very exciting.
That's super exciting. I'm excited.
Well, I look forward to a follow-up conversation for sure. And of course, I have to end our podcast with all my fun questions I always ask. What is your favorite food?
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
If you're stranded on a desert island and you can't say bread loaf, bread from a bread machine, maybe you'll go back to gluten if you're stranded on a desert island.
I'm probably gonna die then anyway.
Exactly. You're like, I'm just gonna eat gluten. It's fine.
Oh gosh, I really like mangoes. Okay, it's disgusting. I actually don't know how to cut a mango. It's really embarrassing. One of my RD2Be friends works at Hy-Vee and does like the demos. And she's like, I'll just show you how to cut a mango. I've done this 1,000 times. So honestly, what I do is I just like cut it into like different pieces and I just eat it straight from the skin. I don't even bother like cutting it into like bite size. No, I just bite right into it, and it's so good.
When you want your mango, you want your mango.
I will eat a mango a day.
That's funny. Well, in our follow-up podcast in a year and a half or so, we'll see if you're taking time to cut a mango yet.
YouTube.
Yes.
How'd you cut a mango?
Yes. Do you have a favorite beverage?
Oh, probably coffee.
Oh, coffee girl.
Yeah. I tried going off and just drinking like black tea. It worked for like a week. I was like, this is not the same.
You are a dietetic student, so I can see where you need some coffee.
I'm trying to get away from like all the excess fat and sugar that comes in beverages from certain coffee shops.
Sure.
And just drinking it more black, but it's a
transition.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all
I
right.
take it slow.
What's your favorite color?
Probably mint green.
Mint green.
Mint green, yeah.
It's a pretty color.
I love mint green.
It would be nice to see some mint green with the snow and brown
Right?
that's surrounding Iowa right
It's
now.
like a little pop of color.
Do you have a favorite scent?
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Yeah, I love peppermint.
That is a good smell.
It really is. It's so like clean and healthy smelling, and if your stomach feels off, you can smell your peppermint oil.
That's probably true. That's probably something that you use quite often. That's a great
I love
idea.
peppermint oil.
Yeah. Genius. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to get some of that
to
smell it.
It's so good.
What brings you joy in life?
Probably my niece.
What's her name? You have to tell her name.
Her name is Arlette.
And how old is she?
She's 8.5 months old.
She's so adorable too. I love seeing pictures on your Instagram. It's so cute.
That's all my Instagram is.
It's your cute cat, Roger, and it's your sweet niece.
Yes. Yeah. No, she is just, she's so precious. Yeah. I just love watching her grow, and she's sitting up now and is just babbling nonstop.
That's fun.
Yep. She's definitely the biggest joy in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for your future. I'm excited that we met by happenstance and being one of the dietitians that you met with.
Yes,
and I look forward to following your journey. And again, we will podcast post-internship and see where in the world is.
See what happened.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have been wanting to do a podcast with Sarah as a student because I'm so excited to do another one with her in the future as an actual registered dietitian. I would have never guessed we would have stayed in contact over the years, and I'm so looking forward to what this woman is going to accomplish in her lifetime. She's very passionate about her future, and she's just a passionate student in person, and I look forward to all the great things that are to come for her. My website, annelizabethrd.com, is where you can read my latest weekly wisdom blog post, where I share my current adventures, food I am eating and loving, and the music playlist I create for my fitness adventures. I might also include a really delicious or real deal recipe, and I always like to show you what I'm loving right now. You will find all my previous podcast show notes and links to the things we talked about during all my conversations with my favorite people. And you can also purchase my book from the website. Feel free to connect with me on social media by finding me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at AnnElizabethRD. Remember to be great always, find the joy in each day, and to start a conversation that truly matters.